books is in. The books are in. Yep. They in. They're here.
Man, he's trying to start. Y'all give me just a second, y'all. We gonna start in about 2 minutes. We gonna start. So give us just a minute. Stay tuned. Yeah, let's get it started, man. Peace and Black African Power. Welcome back to Kofi Piesie Research Team YouTube channel, Kofi Piesie TV. Appreciate those that's tuning in. Please share the show to someone you think that may be appreciating this information that I'm about to present. I want to say ETM Hotep, Dua U, Dua Aku, Dua Necha, Fatmu Alafiye, Fatmu Iwa Pele, Majuba Iba Ie Gungun, Majuba Iba Ie Gungun, Majuba Iba Ie Lakba, Majuba Iba Ie Lakba, E Gungun, Kiki E Gungun. I always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors, because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. We are our ancestors. I also want to stand honor and praises to the true and living elders according to African traditions and from an African worldview or African world perspective. I got some of my regular, the regular normal Kofi Piesie Research Team brothers on the panel. We got Brother Satep and Ra Mariam and T'Challa Bangara and our brother Sutek Akandi Uyani Olawa on the panel. Again, peace and welcome back to Kofi Piesie TV. I'll mute my mic for a second before we get started and let the brothers speak.
Okay, peace everybody. It's your brother Satep and Ra. I'm excited about this show. I was built with Kofi last night about it and very passionate about it. I like what I heard. So yeah, I got my pen, I got my paper. I'm ready to learn something. So thanks for everybody just joining. We got 19, 20 people watching now. Thanks for the people in the future. Peace.
Hey, Shay Alafia, I need your brother Sutek. We black at you again. We appreciate y'all for coming through, man. You know, every Sunday we get it in. So our brother Kofi got a presentation for us. I got my pad, I got my pen. I'm ready to learn something. Hopefully y'all will take something away too. Make sure you like and share the show. And also, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Appreciate y'all, man.
Peace, everybody. Hope y'all been having a good weekend. And do y'all see what our good brother got on his name? Ain't nobody even catch that, but I caught it.
I seen it earlier. Pastor.
Sean did that,
I
man.
know. I know Kofi ain't do that. Sean, somebody must have got him.
Sean.
Go get the collection plate around when you start doing that.
Let me find out. You know, recruited us.
Man, I just noticed that too, man. I done changed my name, man.
Turn the super chat on, Pastor.
No, but peace to everybody that's tuned in. We hope y'all you know, we really are passionate about what we do. I mean, when we build offline, like Brother Satep said, you know, the passion be there. And I'm already knowing that our brother getting ready to go in. So I'm gonna shut my mouth, mute my mic, take out my notepad myself, because I learn from these brothers 24/7. So let's get it.
All right. Peace to those that's watching in the chat. Peace to those that been watching in the in the archives. I mean, peace to my wife that's in the chat. Let's get it in. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Share my screen. We're gonna get it in. We're gonna talk, man. We're gonna talk about this revolutionary, and he kind of changed my perspective. Y'all gonna be hearing me talking a lot more about this. Y'all gonna hear me talking more about revolutionaries in general. I'm finna start doing a lot of speaking about our African revolutionaries, you know, and just about revolution in general. All right. Let me do this here. All right. Screen is sharing. Okay, again, this presentation is called I Am Thomas Sankara, the Revolutionary Presentation. Like I said, his story inspired me. I've done a lot of digging, and there's so much stuff I could have present in this presentation, but I'm not gonna be able to present all of what I wanted to present in this presentation because this story runs deep, especially the Burkina Faso story. In general, the people in Burkina Faso. So y'all will be hearing me talking more about Burkina Faso, about the revolution that took place in Burkina Faso, some of the people that was instrumental in there, with some of them that you're going to find out doing this presentation that you're not going to even like. I know I didn't afterwards. But again, I am Sankara, the revolutionary presentation. And anybody that does what this brother Thomas Sankara is, you are Thomas Sankara as well. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. I'll explain that a little bit more in the presentation. Before I get started, I always have to put a disclaimer out here. My disclaimer is I am not a teacher, but merely a student sharing information. And the information provided is for the educational purpose only. And if you are in doubt, do the research and have it verified by someone qualified. I reserve the right to change the focus of this presentation, to shut down, sell, or exchange the terms or use at my own discretion. All trademark, design rights, copyrights, registers, names, mottos, logos, avatars, the signals, or mark used or cited by this website or the property of the respective owners. I reserve the right to add information as it comes available, adapt, changes, improve information as it comes available in the future. Inputs, wanted, changes, additions, deletions, or encouraged. Then please like and share the show. Definitely share the show with people that you think that may be interested in this information, because we're going to be talking about revolutionary acts. We're going to be talking about revolutionary, especially this hero, I would say, of mine now, Thomas Sankara. But on this platform here, we stand by this. As I learn, we all learn. Also, we must not let our ancestors down. And I know since the beginning of 2020, all the way up now, I know that we have not, Kofi Piesie research team or my Sawari clan, has not let our ancestors down. And I know that they are smiling upon us and well pleased with what we are doing. Before I get started, I'm going to give out 3 working definitions, because I'll be talking about this a lot in the presentation as well. Coop coup, for those that may not know what a coup is, a sudden, violent, or illegal seizure of power from the government. Imperialism, state policy, practice, and advocates of attending power of dominance, especially by direct territorial acquisitions of gaining political or economic control. Capitalism, an economic system characterized by private or corporate ownership of capital goods by investments that are determined by private decisions and by prices, but production and distribution of goods that are determined mainly by the competition in a free market. All right, Thomas Sankara. We're going, before I get into the acts of what Thomas Sankara did, and I know y'all gonna be well pleased with it, but let's just talk about who Thomas Sankara is. Let's go to his early life for those that may not know who this warrior, who this hero, who this powerful revolutionary was. But we're just gonna start off with who he was first before we get into it. Thomas Sankara was born as Thomas Isidore Noel Sankara on the 21st of December. He's got a birthday coming up soon. 1949 in Yako, French Upper Volta, as the third of the 10 children by Joseph Maria Sankara. His father, Joseph Sankara, is a gentleman, was a mixed Mossi and Fulani. Keep that in mind too. His father was mixed. He was Mossi and Fulani, slimly Moge. The heritage, while his mother, Margita Kita, was direct Mossi descendant. So his wife, not his wife, but his mother was a direct descendant of the Mossi people. And again, the Mossi people and the Mossi Empire, there was no such thing as a Mossi Empire until Brother Ben and Brother Anka created the Mossi warrior clan a few years ago. But it was the Mossi people and the Mossi kingdom, which expanded to be the Mossi Empire. He spent his early years as Guana in a town of Humidity Southwest, in which his father was transferred as an auxiliary gentleman. As a son, one of the few African functionaries then employed by colonial states, he enjoyed a relative privileged position. The Mossi people, like I said a while ago, his father, again, and I'm gonna reiterate that because that's important too, to something that he did later on in his life. But again, his father was a mix of Mossi and Fulani, and his mother was a direct descendant of the Mossi people. And again, the Mossi people presides in Burkina Faso. I think they also in Mali, but they heavily populated in Burkina Faso, and the capital is Ouagadougou. And we know that the Mossi people resisted Islam. You know what I'm saying? They resisted religion for a long time. All right, his Roman Catholic parents wanted him to become a priest, but he chose to enter the military. The military was popular at that time, having just ousted the despised president. It was also seen by young intelligence as a national institution that might potentially help to discipline the inefficiency of corrupt bureaucracy, counterbalancing the inordinate influence of traditional chiefs and general help modernizing the country. Beside acceptance into the military activity will come with a scholarship. And we see that a lot here. A lot of our people here, and I'll keep building in a minute. Sankara, he done a normal thing that a lot of people I grew up with done some of the same thing. They enroll into the military because they feel like that, you know, or they may come from a background that that may be poor, or may come from a background where there's a limit of resources. So the best way for them to have an opportunity to get money and, you know, get an education is, you know, join the army, join the military. So, you know, we still doing that today. Sankara could not easily afford the cost of further education otherwise. He took an interest in exam and he passed. Sankara attended the primary school of Bobo Dalasso. He applied himself seriously to his schoolwork and excellent in mathematics and French. He went to church often and impressed with an energy of eagerness to learn. Some of the priests encouraged Thomas to go to the seminary school once he finished primary school. Despite initially agreeing, he took an exam required to entry into the 6th grade in a singular educational system and passed. Thomas' decision continued his education at the nearest isolated question. I'm not going to even get into that because I can't pronounce that. Named after the pre-independence nationalism, proven to be turning point. This step got him out of his father's household. Since I'm not going to pronounce that, was by the Bobo Dalusi, the country commerce central. This is young brother Thomas Sankara. Now,
hey, Kofi, real quick, not to cut your wisdom. That word, his last name Koulibaly, that's definitely so. The Mossi people, they definitely are up in Mali. That Koulibaly name is a name that's shared by both Bambara people, as well as some of your ethnic groups in the Burkina Faso region down in that area. A lot of those countries in West Africa, as we know, they touch and they overlap, like Senegal, Guinea, and Mali. So that becomes a conglomerate sort of like of ethnic groups that kind of merge together. And that name is a very popular name amongst those inhabitants that are both in Mali as well as Burkina Faso.
Okay. I sure don't know the name of it. But Thomas Sankara, he entered the military academy of Kadago of Ouagadougou with the academy first intake in 1966 at the age of 17, while they witnessed a first military coup. And you're going to see this word coup a lot in here. Upper Volta led to the Lieutenant Colonel Senegal Lamazani, the 3rd of January 1966. The training officers were taught by civilians professors in the social science. Adama Toure, who taught history and geographical, was known for having progressive ideals, even though he did not publicly share them, was an academic director at the time. He invited a few of his brightest and more political students, among them Sankara, to join informal discussions about imperialism, neocolonialism, socialism, and communism, the Soviet and Chinese Revolution, and the liberation movement in Africa, in a similar topic outside of the classroom. So again, like I was saying earlier, with Thomas Sankara, Thomas Sankara was intellectual. The more I read about his story, his life, this brother was a smart brother. And as we get into the presentation, you will see how highly intellectual Thomas Sankara was, and that the only sole purpose of him getting into the military was because he wanted to further his education. He wanted to get a scholarship. He wanted to further his education, so he enrolled in into the military in order to continue with a higher education, where he's able to pay for school, where he was able to get a scholarship by entering into the military, something that a lot of people over here do in America already. But as he's in the military and he gets schooling, he meets one of his professors, Adama Toure, and Adama Toure introduced him into these certain ideals and introduced him to certain platforms where they had these particular discussions. And a lot of discussion was about imperialism. So he learned about imperialism. He learned about neocolonialism, socialism, communist, the Soviet and the Chinese Revolution. So now he's beginning to learn about these different ideologies or different ideals, and these different ideals about revolution. All right. After basic military training in the second school of 1966, Sankara began his military career at the age of 19. And a year later he was sent to Madagascar for office training at the Antsaribi, where he witnessed popular uprising in 1971 and 1972 against the government of Philippe Tassarina, and first read the works of Karl Marx and Vladimir Lenin profoundly influenced his political views for the rest of his life. Returning to the Upper Volta in 1972, he fought in the border wars between Upper Volta and Mali. By 1974, he earned fame for his heroic performance in the border wars with Mali, but years later would renounce the war as a useless and injustice. A reflection of his growing political consciousness, he also became a popular figure in the capital of Ouagadougou. In 1976, he became a commander of the Commando Training Century in Po. In the same year, he met, and remember this name here. Now, again, before we get to actually what this, I say hero of mine did, and what this powerful revolutionary did, again, I'm just trying to give y'all a little context or a backdrop of who Thomas Sankara is and some of these individuals that he ended up meeting in his military career before these chains of events started to take place in Burkina Faso. So now he becomes a commander later on, and he's at a commando training in Central Po. This is where he meets Balasi Kambare. So remember this name, Blasi Kambare. And a lot of these names I got highlighted. Y'all kind of remember these names because they're going to tie in some of these pieces that we talk about when we get further into the presentation. But that same year again, he met Balasi Kambare in Morocco during the presidents of Colonial Say Zerbo. A group of young officers formed a secret organization called the Communist Officer Group, Regroupement des Officers Communists, or the ROC, and best known members as Henry Zogo, Shan Baptiste, Bakara Linge, Balasi Kambare, and Thomas Sankara. Now, during this time when, they in the military, they began to form this secret organization, this secret society within this in the military that they were serving in, right? And these were some of the major figures which we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Henry Zongo, Sean Baptiste, Bukare Lingane, and Blasi Kambare, and Thomas Sankara. It's another name that I'm not talking about, but we're going to get to this other person or this another infamous name that also was a part of this secret organization within the military. But we're going to get to him and why I didn't exclude his name in there, or why you don't see his name in particular when you start to read some of the stories of how Thomas Sankara meet Blasi Kambare and these other individuals. But right now, focus on Blasi Kambare. Now, this here is Thomas Sankara. This is Linge, and this is what's the brother name? Zogo, Henry Zogo. Early pictures. Now, Blasi Kambare, the president of Burkina Faso from 1987 to 2004. Now, remember, I told you about when Thomas Sankara, he got in the military, right? He joined the military because he wanted to further his education. So he wanted a way to be able to, so he joined, so he was able to get a scholarship and able to get money to also fund or further his education. Later on, he went to these certain trainings. He got introduced to one of his professors that introduced him into, you could say, revolutionary, introduced him into imperialism, neocolonialism, and etc., and these different revolutions that took place in the Soviet Union and in China. And then he further went on. He became a commander, and then he met Blasi Kambare, remember, in Morocco. And then they formed a secret organization, a secret society within the military. So you had Blasi Kambare, you had Thomas Sankara, you had Linge, you had Zogo, and there was another individual that I didn't mention, which I'll mention later, that formed this secret society. So keep that in mind. So when he met, so after Thomas Sankara, I'm not going to tell you what happened to Thomas Sankara yet, but after Thomas Sankara, Blase Cambrare, who he met in 1977 or 78, I can't remember. And they formed this secret organization within the military factory that they was after Thomas Sankara, that Blase Cambrare became the president. And we're going to get into how this individual became president. He was damn near president for damn near 27 years. But Sankara was appointed Minister of Information by Zanzibar military government in September of 1981. Sankara differentiated himself from other government officials in many ways, such as biking to work every day instead of driving a car. While his predecessors would censor journalists and newspapers, Sankara encouraged investigative journalists and allowed the media to print whatever he found. This led to publication government scandals by both privately owned and state-owned newspapers. He resigned on the 12th of April, 1982, in opposition to what he saw as a regime anti-labor drifting, declaring misfortune to those who gag the people. So, and I relate to him because the more I read a story about Sankara, like he said, he to me, he stood out. He stood out from the rest of his predecessors. He's different. And I like that because I stand out from my predecessors. I'm different. I talk different. People make fun of me the way I talk. People make fun of me, or I stand out because of my hair color. My hair may be red. It may be burgundy. It may be, certain things, and just certain things. How I move, I don't move like other people. My scholarship does not resemble the normal scholarship that everybody prefer to do. So my writing style or technique is different. My delivery is different. So I'm just different all the way around the board. So I can relate to him on that aspect. And after another coup, November 1982 brought the power Major Dr. Jean-Baptiste Ouagadougou. Sankara became prime minister in January of 1983, but he was dismissed on the 17th of May. In between those 4 months, Sankara pushed Ouagadougou regime for more progressive reforms. Sankara was then arrested after the French president after an affairs advisory. Guys Pence met with Colonel Yore Some. Henry Zogo and Jean-Baptiste Bokare Lingue were also under arrest. The decision to arrest Sankara proves to be very unpopular with younger officers in the military regimes, and the imprisonment created enough momentum from his friend Blase Compaore to lead another coup. So you keep hearing the word coup, right? Now going back to, again, Blase Compaore, who, again, he met in 1977 or 1978 in Morocco, and they formed this secret society with those other individuals. So now we keep talking about the word coup. A coup that are organized by Blase Compaore. Now Blase Compaore, he staged a coup during the arrest of Sankara and two of his other associates who was in this secret organization, which the ROC, I just say the ROC. So the Sankara Compaore made Sankara president on the 4th of August, 1983, at the age of 33. The coup d'etat was supported by Libya, which was at the time in verge of war with France and in Chad. Now, this is the younger picture of Blase Compaore and Thomas Sankara in the military. Now, again, we just talked about Blase Compaore staging a coup, right? So, and after this, well, we'll get into it because I don't want to give it away because I got on a few slides. But Sankara became the president of the Republican of the Upper Volta. He immediately launched programs for social, ecology, and economic change and renaming the country from the French colonial name Upper Volta to Burkina Faso. So prior to Thomas Sankara becoming the president, we know that that area, the Volta area, that the Upper Volta area was colonized by the French. So during the presidency, and well, let's just go back real quick to Blase Compaore. After Sankara got arrested, Thomas Sankara got arrested, and two of the associates that was in this secret organization within the military got arrested, right? Blaise Compaoré staged the coup with another individual that I didn't mention that was in the secret organization, right? Once he staged that coup, certain things happened within that coup, and certain things happened in order for Thomas Sankara to be president. It could have been that president that was up over the Upper Volta, who had his ties with the French government or the French imperialists, which we know that was running the government at that particular time. He may have got assassinated. Now, when Sankara took over, you know, he was against capitalism. He was against imperialism. He was against colonialism. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to see this further on. But during his presidency, he changed the name because we know that the French gave that area that name of the Upper Volta. So Sankara, right off the rip, serving for a little time, he went in and he changed the name. So that's where we get the name today. That name comes from Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso. And Burkina Faso means the land of incorruptible people, with its people being called the Burkina, the upright people. They also call Thomas Sankara the revolutionary upright, upright revolutionary. Now, Burkina Faso is a name drawn from two of the most influential spoken languages spoken in the country. And remember, I told you that Thomas Sankara's father was mixed. He was Fulani and he was Massa. And his mother was a direct descendant from the Massa. So we knew that Thomas Sankara, he could speak Fulani or Fula, and he could speak More, which the Mossi people spoke, right? So when he created, and you know, when he changed the name to Burkina Faso, the ethnic Mossi speaking More and the Fulani spoke by Fula. Fulani are called Poulas in French. Since 1984, the people of the country have called themselves Burkina, Burkina. The suffix B in the name Burkina is a Fula term used to define inhabitants. In the language spoken by the ethnic Pouls, the word Burkina in More, the most dominant ethnic language spoken there, means integrity, while Faso and Fula means land. Mossi and Fula are the most prevalent ethnic groups in the country, but they share the land with many other ethnicities such as the Lobe, the Goroso, the Yoso, the Somo, the Dogon, the Mani. You know, the Bobo was also in that area as well. So that's where he come up with the term. So we know the term, both Burkina Faso comes from the Fula language and the More language, which is spoke by the Fula people and the Mossi people. And again, his father was mixed Fula and Mossi, and his mother was a direct descendant of the Mossi. So we know he spoke both languages. So he merged the two and created Burkina Faso. And again, Burkina Faso is the land of the incorruptible people, I mean. And the people call themselves Burkina, which means the upright people. And it's another reason why I resonate with this story too, is because Thomas Sankara has integrity. And a lot of people in this so-called conscious community does not have integrity. A lot of these people does not have good character at all. So I resonate with this people because he exhibited great character. He was not corruptible like a lot of people at this time. Even if you go back before you get to Sankara, you will see how, you know, and even just that, how certain places in Africa became corruptible because of the colonization and these different foreigners offering, you know, this amount of wealth or status or control if you're able to do such and such things for to keep this self in the power, in a position, or whatever their certain agenda is for that country or for that group of people. So he was incorruptible. Immediately after Sankara took office, he suppressed most of his power held by tribal chiefs in Burkina Faso. the feudal landlords were stripped of the rights. So he went in and he started cleaning everything. So again, and notice what he's doing now. He's in power, right? So he immediately after Sankara took office, he suppressed most of the power held by tribal chiefs in Burkina Faso. These feudal landlords were stripped of the rights to tribal payments and forced labors, as well as having their land distributed among the peasants. This served as a dual purpose of creating higher standards of living for average Burkina, as well as creating optimal situations to induce Burkina Faso into food sufficiency. So he cut that right away with these tribal payments that these chiefs was getting, and then he began, and you know that certain chiefs was over the land. They distributed the land. He took those rights away from him. He began to distribute the land to more underprivileged people, or people that was not was not in power, so to say. Within 4 years, Burkina Faso reached food sufficiency due to large parts of feudal land, redistributions of series of irrigation and fertile programs instituted by the government. During the time, production of cotton and wheat increased dramatically, while the average wheat production from the Sahel region was 1,700 kilograms per hectares, 1,500 pounds acres. In 1986, Burkina Faso was producing 3,900 kilograms per hectares, 3,500 pounds acres of wheat in the same year. This success meant Sankara had not only shifted his country into food self-sufficient, but had in turn created a food surplus. So Sankara wanted to do for self. He didn't want the help from these outside people. So certain things happen, which we're going to continue to start, where a lot of these coups started to take place. But I want y'all to continue to keep Balasse Kambare in your head, because just keep him in your head. This assessment, Sankara had not only shifted his country into self-sufficient, he had to in turn created food surplus. Sankara also emphasized the production of cotton and the need to transform the cotton produced in Burkina Faso into clothing for his people. Sankara's first priority after taking office were feeding houses and giving medical care to his people who desperately needed it. Sankara launched a mass vaccination. So during this time of 1983, Sankara knew how important it was, how vaccination was important. I know right now that's the topic at hand in the discussion right now, because we're in a pandemic, so everybody is talking about vaccinations right now. So you can see Sankara was, he really wanted to bring, medical care into Burkina Faso, especially for his people, because they was deprived of medical care. So Sankara launched a mass vaccination program in attempt to eradicate polio, meningitis, and measles, and I think also yellow fever. From 1983 to 1985, roughly 2 million Burkinabés were vaccinated. It says from 1983 to 1985, roughly 2 million Burkinabés was vaccinated. So for people, I know there's an argument in saying that vaccinations don't come from Africa, people in Africa ain't on vaccinations, or people in Africa are gonna think they're vaccination. I just had an argument just Friday in the barbershop about this, about a lot of people that was in the barbershop was pro, getting vaccinated. They had disagreements about being vaccinated, and I tried to explain certain things to them. So Burkina were vaccinated. Prior to Sankara president, emphasis mortality in Burkina Faso was about 28%. During his presidency, it fell to 14%. Sankara administration was also the first African government to publicly recognize the AIDS epidemic as a major threat to Africa. Large-scale housings of infrastructure projects were also undertaken. Brick factories were created to help build houses in effort to end urban slums. In attempt to fight deforestation, the People Harvest the Forest Nursing was created to supply 7,000 villages nursing, as well as organizing the plants of several million trees. All regions of the countries were soon connected by vast roads of railroad building programs. Over 700 kilometers, 430 miles of rails was laid in Burkina by the Burkina Faso people to facilitate management extractions. The battles of the rails within any foreign aid of outside money. So he began to rebuild. He began to set all these programs in the place, right? So he began to make sure that they was able to have trees. So they created these different forest nurses where they was able in these villages where they was able to nurse these trees because they understood the importance of trees. And he began to build these railroads and produce these jobs for his people in Burkina Faso without any aid from the foreigners. Because again, he despised imperialism. He despised colonialism and certain things that he did. Now you had the French. He changed it up from Upper Volta to Burkina Faso. He began to implement all these different policies that would greatly have a great effect on his people, because under colonialism, imperialism, colonialism, we had a group of people that was for capitalism, imperialism, the chiefs, the kings, they was under this because these certain foreign imperialism governments, they would offer certain things to the chiefs, to the presidents, keep them in power, keep them in position, for whatever they may come, whatever agreement they come in, to continue to implement the policies of these foreigners. So Sankara wasn't having it. So when he became president, again, he wasn't going to be corrupt, and he had a love for his people. So he wanted to see his people prosper. So even within him becoming president, you had people that was in Burkina Faso who started despising some of his own people, because again, he took the power from some of the chiefs. The chiefs was some of the people that distributed the land. He took that power. The chief was getting tribunal payment. He stripped that away from them. So and he took the power from those foreigners who came in and aided them, or he wasn't going to implement their policies because their policies were detrimental to their people, and it was a gain for these foreigners. So he wasn't having it. So he begins to put in all these different policies and start to develop Burkina, the new country now that it's called Burkina Faso. And he did that without the help and the aid of the French. Thomas Sankara also launched educational programs to help combat the country 90% illiteracy rate. And again, like I said, Thomas Sankara was a very smart and intellectual person. And again, the only reason why he ended up in the military was because he wanted to get a scholarship where he was able to further his education or get funds so he can pay to further his education. So Thomas Sankara also launched education programs to help combat the country's 90% illiteracy rate. These programs helped aid some success in the first few years. However, widely scale teaching strikes couples with Sankara's unwillingness to negotiate led to the creation of revolutionary teachers. In an attempt to replace the nearly 2,500 teachers fired over a strike in 1987, anyone with a college degree was invited to teach through the Revolutionary Teachers Program. Volunteers merely received a 10-day training course before beginning teaching. So you had to go. If you wasn't teaching something to uplift the people that was in these institutions, you had to go. He appointed women to higher governmental positions. Hold on, y'all. Let me get this thing off here because I can't see the rest of this thing here. Shoot. But he appointed women to highly government positions and encouraged them to work outside the home and stay in school. Even pregnant even pregnant. Sankara encouraged the persecution of officials, accusing corruption, counter-revolutionary, and lazy work and Popular Revolutionary Tribunal. As an admirer of Cuban revolution, Sankara set out Cuban-style committees from the defense of revolution. Such programs led to criticisms by Amnesty International and other non-government organizations for violations of human rights, including extrajudicial executions and arbitrary distinctions of policies appointed. His revolutionary programs for Africa self-reliance made him an icon to many of African poor. Sankara remained popular with most of his country's citizens. However, his policies alienated and antagonized several groups, which included small but powerful Burkina middle class, the tribal leaders who were stripped of their long-held traditional privileges of a forced labor and tribunal payment, and the governments of France and its allies to the Ivory Coast. Like I was saying earlier, when he came in position, he began to clean house. He began to make things better. He set policies that was going to affect a positive change for his people and not a negative change. He was not going to go and do the bidding for the government of France. He was not going to do this. So he began to strip the power because, again, we know, and again, I'm not going to sensationalize anything. When in Africa, we had people that was corrupted. We had backstabbers, which we're going to talk about, backstabbers. And we see this throughout any type of movement that we in, that we look in just the United States alone. We seen that we had movements that was pushing to the forefront that was that was affecting positive change for our people, but they began to put the government or these foreigners began to put in place people that does not look like us to break down these organizations or these movements or these groups because it is bad for their policies. It is bad for their agenda. So, this same things is going over in Africa at these particular times as well. So, like I said, Sankara was, so he, like I said, he began to shut down and set up these policies, you know what I'm saying? And he did all of these without, I read loud and strong. So he set these policies into place to benefit them, and he created all these opportunities for his people without the aid of these foreigners or the government of the France, because again, we know France colonized that area. So in October 1987, Sankara was assassinated by troops led by Mboka-Family, who assumed leadership of the state shortly after having Sankara killed. So again, we talked about Mboka-Family, we talked about Linge, we talked about Zorgo, and Thomas Sankara, who created a secret organization. They was in the military and then they became friends. They created a secret organization within the military, and they began to try to do some positive work within the military. And then they began to stage the coups. And coups was very popular in Burkina Faso. And the coup that Mboka-Family staged when Thomas Sankara was got arrested, that coup got him free, and that coup put him in the position to be president. So you see these stages reoccurring. So, and remember, the first coup was by Mboka-Family again when Thomas Sankara was arrested. And then when that coup was staged, he was freed, and then Sankara became president. And now another coup has been staged by Mboka-Family, and people are saying now his friend has had him killed. He set a coup into place and had Sankara killed. And we're going to get into why we feel like, and the crazy part of this brother, and even this brother had something to do with it because he staged the coup. But as the story goes on, he said it was an accident when he set the coup. But you know, when they began to set these coups into place, it was to take over the government. The military staged these coups to take over the government. Or they didn't like certain things that the person that was in position, the president, so they staged these coups, you know what I'm saying, and took over the government, assassinated the president, and etc. So now you're seeing Bolasie doing the same thing, but now he's doing that with it. Supposed to be his close friend. So now he has staged and had Sankara killed. But why does he have his friend killed, which he says that it was an accident when they staged the coup? But again, when you go back and you look and study certain things that happened in Burkina Faso, to be particular, a lot of coups was staged to take over the government by the military. Now, before I go any further, a week before his assassination, Thomas Sankara declared, he made this when he was doing his speech. He said, and this is a powerful statement, y'all. It says, while revolutionaries as an individual can be murdered, you cannot kill ideals. Man, I'm going to read that again. While revolutionaries as an individual can be murdered, you cannot kill ideals. And they murdered Sankara, but the ideals and the policies that he set in place, his ideology, it still lives on within Burkina Faso. They have been fighting for that. And you see that when you get to 2014 and 2015 with an uprising in Burkina Faso. But we'll talk about that a little later. Now, let's go back and dig a little deeper to see Mboka-Family Kambare staged another coup, which caused the death of Thomas Sankara. So we talked about, like I said, reiterating again, he staged the coup when Thomas Sankara got arrested. And Thomas Sankara was a minister, then he was a minister of information, and he was allowing media to come in. He did not gag these media outlets because he wanted the corruption exposed in Burkina Faso, or at that time it was called the Upper Volta, before Thomas Sankara renamed it once he became the president of Burkina Faso. So, you know, the government of France wasn't, fond of that, you know what I'm saying, because Thomas Sankara was letting these people now expose the corruption that was going on within the government of the Upper Volta, right? But things transpired, he got arrested, and then Mboka-Family Kambare staged the coup. He got free. He became president. Now, 4 years later, in Sankara presidency, where Thomas Sankara said all these policies took the power from the people that his own people that was misusing it for their own benefits for gain from the French government. He took that power away from them as well. He created jobs. He brought medical care there. He made sure they was able to plant trees where their places would become a desert land. You know what I'm saying? He began to distribute land to the poor people. You know what I'm saying? He took away those hard conditions of working labor that was in Burkina Faso. So he did a lot of things for his people, and he created a railroad system and railroads, and he was able to do all of these things without the foreigner, without the French government's help at all. He wanted to be self-sufficient. But now that we talked about him being killed, and it says that he was killed by Mboka-Family Kambare, we're going to find out later on. Mboka-Family Kambare says that the coup was staged, but Thomas Sankara's death was an accident. That's a lie. And then somebody else that I didn't mention in the organization that Thomas Sankara, Mboka-Family Kambare, Sorgo, and Lingige, Jean Baptiste created this secret organization, right? I didn't mention another fellow name. We're going to talk about him in a minute, but let's go back to Blaise Compaoré. Blaise Compaoré was instrumental in getting Sankara released from prison prior to 1983 coup, which I already iterated. On the account of the role that he had previously played, Compaoré had always considered himself to be a leader member of the regime. So Blaise Compaoré thought he was the leader of the regime. They created this organization, the ROC, and he thought he was the leader of this secret organization of this regime that they created, right? Remember? You have, again, this secret organization called the Communist Officer Group, Regroupness des Officer Communists, or the ROC, as I explained. So you have Compaoré, you have Linge, you have Sankara, and you have Zongo. So these are some of the people these are the people who started this secret organization. But there was another person who also was a part of this secret organization that you hardly ever hear about during this certain period of time. We're going to talk about him in a minute. That's him right here. Gilbert Diodoro. Gilbert Diodoro was also a member or a founding member of the secret organization called the Communist Officer Group, the Regroupness des Officer Communists, or what they consider as the ROC. He was also a member of them, but you don't see him being highly profiled when you go back and you start to look through history. You don't see his name as much during that particular time of 1983 to 1984. You know, you start to see it after the coup was staged, and the position and the power came after the coup. So Gilbert Diodoro served as a commander of the regime of the president's secret presidential security during Blaise Compaoré rule. So after the coup, right, that Blaise Compaoré staged, right, and Thomas Sankara was assassinated, which Blaise Compaoré said that it was an accident. He did not set out to assassinate. But we're going to get into why did he stage the darn coup in the first place, and why was Thomas Sankara assassinated? And again, going back to what I said, this brother was for self. So he did not have any aid or assistance by the government of France, which colonized that area. So when he became president, he was very disruptive. So he changed all the policies to benefit, his people, right? So now, when that happened, his darn friend that set both coups into place, Blaise Compaoré, becomes president. And now Gilbert Diodoro becomes head of the presidential security. He becomes head of the president's security and the military, right? Years on the Sankara of most sweeping revolutionary change in history of the continent, which includes exploration of the landlords and capitalists of the reputations of the debt owed to the IMF and the World Bank. French imperialism decided that the revolutionary regime posed a more serious threat in its interests in the region. The final straw came when Sankara attempted to export the revolution by advocating that other African countries follow example of repudiations of the debt. The problem that they faced was that they failed to corrupt Sankara, and so they had to find other members within the regime that they could influence. Now let's go back. I done seen this a lot occurring in over here with, again, the movements, the movements that took place over here in the United States, right? But going back, repudiation, for those, it says refuse to accept something or someone as true or responsible. So right here, with my cursor at, it says that which include explorations of the landlords and capitalists and the reputation of the debt. So he refusing. So now he's refusing the debt owed by the IMF and the World Bank. He refusing to pay the debt back. He said he's not going to pay the debt back. I don't blame him. I wouldn't pay the debt back neither. You are in our country. You took over our country. You done raped and pillaged and took our resources. You have turned our people against us. We not finna give you. So So the people, the government, the French government started to see these things, or the father started to see these things, man, oh man, that's detrimental. So now we done see within the 4 years of his presidency how he done turned everything around. He done stripped us from our policies. He implemented policies that no longer benefit us, it benefits his people. And the corruptible people that we had, he stripped the power from them. We can't have that. And now we already been on the, we already been trying to figure it out. And now this fool is now trying to influence other African countries to not pay the debt, pay their debt. So now they had to figure out a way on how to get this man out of the position that he is, get him out of the power that he in. So now they had to go to the people that was closest to him. And you see this all the time. The closest people to you betrayed you all the time. The people that you think are your friends, your best friends, your allies, your comrades, these be some of the same people that turn against you and have you killed, have you assassinated, have your character assassinated. So the problem faced was that they failed to corrupt Sankara, so they had to find other members within the regime that they could influence. And we already know who was those members. We already know who the members was. We already know who the members was. We know it was who we know it was. We know it was Blase Cambare, and we know it was Gilbert Dodoris, or however you pronounce his last name, who was also a founder of that secret organization that wasn't high profile like those other members was in the beginning of it being created and the things that they did. He was a shadow type person. He wanted to stay in the background. So he didn't want to be highly profiled. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna get more into this, brother, in a minute. So now they started to plant these people to take Sankara out because, again, of the policies that he set into place. And then he told them, and then the stuff that he did it without their aid and their help. And he said, I ain't paying y'all SHIT. And now that he's in power in these 4 years, he become this hero amongst the people in Burkina Faso, but other areas in Africa, in West Africa. And people wanted to start following suit, you know what I'm saying, with this revolution that was taking place in Burkina Faso. And then when that was the last straw for them, when he told them he wasn't paying a damn bank a damn thing. I'm not giving you a damn thing. And okay, so there had always been different wings in Sankara regime. And general revolutionaries that wish to go the whole way of transforming societies along socialist lines, and another that wishes to hold the revolutionary back, and best by pushing the bureaucracy democratic demands, i.e. to maintain capitalism in that. And I have seen this personally, a lot. Majority of my life, I've been a part of like a lot of different organizations. And one organization that changed my entire life, and then that organization sprungboard me into me being aware and transitioning from other things and other ideologies and beliefs and religions and so forth. But even within the organizations that I'm apparently in now, you will see that if you're a part of these groups or these organizations, you can always have two sides. You know what they're explaining that further when we read the right wing, the right wing and the left wing. We see this in the government structure too, where they talk about the right wing and the left wing. These one organization, but they are broken into two. You know, you got one side over here believe this and stand for that. You got another side believes and stand for that. They're in the same group, but they're not agreed. So the group is split, and they over here whispering, and you got more people that attached to these group of people over here than attached to these group of people instead of the group is attached to one. And I see that, like I said, in my Masonic year, my 15-year Masonic career, and even in these so-called conscious communities or these organizations that I am, you have a split where you got two sides. Everybody's not agreeing. So you had one side that was following Thomas Sankara, during this regime, and they believe in self-sufficient. They believe in power to the people. You know what I'm saying? They believe in setting things into place, policies into place that'll benefit them, not the people on the outside, but benefit them. So, and then you had another group of people that, hey, look, man, I ain't for the people. I'm for myself. Like we are. We want the bag. You know what I'm saying? And this was the same thing that Blase Compaoré and Gilbert Doris, that's what they wanted, man. They wanted the bag. And a lot of people too that's in this conscious community, you know what I'm saying? They got y'all fooled. Y'all thinking they for the people. They ain't for the people. They for self-gain. They ain't for the people. So now you got the other side of this regime that is for self-benefits. They are for themselves. They ain't for the betterment of the people. They want the bag for themselves. So that's what these individuals wanted. So when the government of France presented themselves to them, hey, we can do this, man. You can become president. You can be in position of power. You also can be in position of power. You can do certain things, but long as you implement these policies that it benefits us as a whole, but you will be able to get paid. You will be able to get compensated for these things. So that's what. So you had two different. You had the right wing and the left wing. I'm gonna say the right wing because Thomas Sankara was upright, you know, and that's what the Banab people means. It means the upright people, right? You know what I'm saying? And Burkina Faso means the incorruptible people. So Thomas Sankara was uncorruptible. He could not be corrupted by anybody. He could not be persuaded to go against his people to get the bag. So these two wings could not cohabitate for too long. The imperialism were fully aware of these divisions and realized that their best bet was to corrupt one wing of regime and use it to remove Sankara as a means of overturning his radical policies. And like I said, we see this today. We have seen this throughout time immemorial. If you go back and study the civil rights movement, you see that through the civil rights movement. You'll see that through the Black Power movement. You'll see that. You even see that, you know, today's time. You will see that in our own so-called government of the United States, the same thing. Thus, the collaboration with the French imperialism and the regime of the Ivory Coast, Compaoré carried out the coup of 15th of October 1987 with Sankara and 12 other members of the government were killed. So Blase Compaoré set this stuff into motion, this other coup, right? But if you go back again, when I talked about the first coup, he set a coup. Not Thomas Compaoré, but Blase Compaoré set a coup in motion when you had another president that was the president in the Upper Volta before it became Burkina Faso. And that coup transitioned Thomas Sankara to being president. So you know what happened to the president before Thomas Sankara became president when they set the coup? And now Blase Compaoré saying that the coup was the coup was this and that, and Thomas Sankara assassination was a mistake or it was an accident. You did the bidding of these damn French imperialism. You was on the side of, you was on the left side. You weren't on the right wing side. You was on the left wing side. You wanted the bag. You loved what the French imperialists could do for you. You wanted to keep their capitalistic ideologies intact. You know, you wanted to reiterate their policies because you know it wasn't going to help your people, but it was going to help you and a few people that helped you during the stagecoach that was going to help y'all get the bag. So you killed, that coup, you had his assassination. So he's saying that he did not have him assassinated. Now he didn't do it per se. Now let's go. We're gonna go back into Diadira in a minute, Gilbert, right? But in 1989, he alleged, now after this took place, right? And then Blase Compaoré became the president, and then now you got Jean-Baptiste Lingay, you got Hiri Zongo, you got Thomas Sankara, you got Blase Kambare, you got Gilbert Deodora. These are the people that started this regime, that started this secret organization when they was in the military. But the people that was high profile was at the time was Blase Kambare, because he staged the coup and got Thomas Sankara free and put him in a position to be the president. And then you had the people that also that was implemental. You had that was high profile at that time because they got arrested too. Jean-Baptiste Linguet and Henry Zogo. But then they became high profile, and people knew of them. They was, they knew of them. So Thomas Sankara, Blase Kambare, Jean-Baptiste Linguet, Henry Zogo, they was highly profile, but it was another person who also was a founder too. And that again, that was Gilbert Deodora. If I'm pronouncing his last name right, he was also a part of the coup, and he was the founder of that organization or that regime that they created, that secret organization that they created when they was in the military. So in 1989, this is after Blase Kambare became president, right? And I said you had the right wing, you had the left wing, right? The right wing, the left wing. To Thomas Sankara, I'm gonna say the right wing because Bakunab, it means upright people, and they refer to Thomas Sankara as an upright person because he was uncorruptible. You know what I'm saying? And he named that country Burkina Faso, which is from the Fula and the Moray language spoke by the Fula and the Mossi people, which means the uncorruptible people. You know what I'm saying? So that place was, so he wanted to make that statement. So the right wing was uncorruptible. So the right wing, those people consist of Thomas Baptiste, Henry Zogon, Thomas Sankara, and other people, right? And then you had the left wing, Blase Kambare and Deodora and other people that say, hey, we just want the bag. We don't give a damn about our people. We just trying to come up. So whatever we got to do, so it's an offer on the table. We're going to do that because we want the bag. So now, after Thomas Sankara's assassination later on in 1989, alleged Jean-Baptiste Linguet and Henry Zogo were plotting to overthrow Kambare by blowing up the presidential plane. So now you got these two brothers wanting to stage a coup. Now, every time a coup is staged, y'all, somebody is being assassinated. Some people are dying. And then the military is taking over the government, and then they're putting the person who staged the coup, more majority of the time, in position, or the person they feel to be in power, they put them in that position. So now the brothers that was a part of the regime that was formed again by Thomas Sankara, Jean-Baptiste Linguet, Henry Zogo, Blase Kambare, and Gilbert Deodora. Now, but they were started, but they were split. Two, people over here, people over here. So now the right wing, the people, the upright people, I would say, now they trying to stage a coup because they trying to get Blase Kambare, which was their comrade, which was their friend, now trying to get them out of position. So to say, or maybe this is what he thought they was going to try to do, was stage a coup, because from what I'm seeing, it is unclear whether they tried to set and put a coup in a place to assassinate him, get him out of power so someone can get in power so they can start to be back for the people. So they was assassinated. So were plotted, overthrown by Kambare, was blowing up the presidential plane. Lingane and Zogo were immediately arrested on the orders of Deodora and summarily executed by the firing squad. Now, again, Gilbert Deodora was also a person who was a part of that secret organization, but played the sideline. He played in the background. They call him a shadowy person. So he didn't want his name high profile like these Thomas Sankara and the rest of these people were. So now when Blase Kambare became the president after he staged the coup and had him assassinated to do the bidding for the government of France, or the France imperialism, right? And he made Deodora the commander of this regime that protected the presidential protection regime that protected the president, and he was over the military. So now Deodora has now summoned them and arrested them and then had them executed by firing squad. We don't need these fools because they follow the ideology of Thomas Sankara. They for the people. They may stage a coup because, again, there's no evidence that I have seen, and I could be wrong because, again, I've been reading this for a minute, you know what I'm saying, and then I've been digging a little bit deep in certain things, and so I hadn't seen anything exclusively saying that these brothers was going to stage a coup to get him out. But then again, they could have. But again, it could have been in the back of Balasse, Mine, and Dildor. But these brothers followed Sankara, and they was the right-wing people, so they may stage a coup and have us assassinated. They take over the government, so we got to have them killed. So let's say that they did that. Let's arrest them, and then they had them killed by firing squad. This acts consolidated Dildor's position as a main enforcer behind the Compaoré regime. The presidential protection regime under Dildor will become the most powerful and most feared organization in the country and the bulwark of the counter-revolutionary. So this here, again, is Clifford Dildor. He was also the founder of that organization that all of them created back in, I can't remember exactly when, but they also he was also a part of the coup that was staged to free Thomas Sankara, John Baptiste Lingay, and Henry Zogo when they was arrested. But this man here, he became feared. He became the enforcer. Again, he was the enforcer. He was over the protection agency or region of the president and of the military. So this brother here had all type of power. You know what I'm saying? So, and he misused that power. And we're going to find out what he did because, again, we talked about Balasse Compaoré, who had him killed, had Thomas Sankara killed, said it was an accident when the coup was set, and he wasn't supposed to get killed. But, again, the French imperialists or the government of France, you know, colonized that area. They had policies in place that benefited France, you know, and then they had certain things. They put certain people in the place and the power to do their bidding for them, right? And gave them, throw them, you know, whatever they threw them, whether it was, you know, money or gold or clothing or power, some type of power or position, or either a monthly salary or pay or whatever the case may have been. But oh shoot, that's the end. But let's just talk about it real quick. So Dildor was in 2000. Well, after a certain period of time, Balasse ruled for he ruled for 27 years. This man was president for 27 years. He staged the coup and the assassination of Thomas Sankara. He did the bidding for the French imperialism. And again, he did that because Thomas Sankara was turning stuff upside down in Burkina Faso because he got rid of the policies, he implemented the policies that affected his people. He created jobs. He created, he got them a good medical care, you know what I'm saying? You know, he made sure that their place didn't turn into a deserted hazardous. So he created these different farms or nurseries for planting trees because he understood how important trees were. He took the power away from those corruptible chiefs and kings that was getting paid a tribunal salary, took the power away from those corrupted chiefs that were distributing the land, and he started distributing the land to the poor, giving the poor opportunity. He brought in because their literacy rate was at a 90% high, 90% a literacy rate. So he began education. He brought education. Education became one of the most important things in the policy, where he started building these institutions and these schools and so forth to educate, you know, his people, you know. So he did a whole lot, and he did all this without the aid of the people. And you know, and you could say that it had to be some jealousy by Gilbert Dildor and Balasse Compaoré, who probably was jealous of what Thomas Sankara did within those 4 years of turning Burkina Faso around, and becoming a hero. And not only that, Thomas Sankara didn't pay the debt. He didn't pay the debt, and he was Thomas Sankara was very influenced by other countries that was in that area, African countries in general, and starting their own revolutionary and setting policies that benefit the people and not those foreigners who came in and colonized the area. So he taught them to fight back, to again implement those policies to effect change, great change, a good change for his people. And then, even with the debt, he dismissed paying the debt. So he had to be assassinated, so they put these people, his closest friends, in a position of power and had them assassinated and put these people in a position of power. And Mboka-Family Kambaré became president for 27 years. And he did this, when you study, like I said, I could have went on forever, and talked a little bit more, which it's going to be more about Burkina Faso area and some more about some of these people, because I want to get y'all more familiar with Jean-Baptiste Linguet, Henry Zogo, and we could talk a little bit more about Thomas Sankara, because I could have, like I said, so much information, I couldn't put it all in here. And even I want to talk about Mboka-Family Kambaré, how he was the damn president from 1988 or 89 all the way to 2014. How this man stayed in a position of power as the president and was responsible for Thomas Sankara being assassinated, along with Diodora. And this guy here, Clifford Diodora, where my cursor at, he is the one that they say assassinated him. So in 2015, with 2014, they staged the people, and and that's one thing that I can say when we study, we study history. When we study history here in America, right? We know when we look at the civil rights movement, we look at the Black Power movement that spun out of the civil rights movement, right? Who y'all think was leading these rebellions, these uprisings? It was the youth. So the youth in Burkina Faso did the same thing. They got tired of the things that was happening in Burkina Faso, especially under the power of the president who had one of the heroes in Burkina Faso killed. So, dang, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, so I'm saying, so we the youth. So in 2014, the youth, revolted, uprise. They, they wanted justice. And this guy was trying to become president, so they made sure that he didn't become president. So you could somewhat say that the civilians or the youth civilians uprise, they staged a coup, and they was able to push Mboka-Family Kambaré out of being a president for God knows how long else he would have been, because he was already in a position of power for 27 years. And his enforcer, Clifford Diodora, was the most feared and powerful man in that area, and did, ain't no telling how much, evil that this brother did under the power of Mboka-Family Kambaré. And but in 2014, early 2015, this was maybe 30 years later, he hadn't been convicted from what I've seen. I'm still digging, but Clifford, I know Mboka-Family Kambaré, he fled after the uprising in 2014 by the youth. He eventually fled. He fled, and he went to the embassy under the Vatican. He fled to the embassy up under the Vatican to hide. I don't know where he's at now. I think he's still living. But in 2015, late 2014, maybe early 2015, they arrested Clifford Diodora, and he got out, but he got arrested, and he was supposed to go to trial for the murder of John Lord John, but Thomas Sankara. And I don't know if he ever got convicted for the crime of assassinating the president in Burkina Faso, which is, to me, a powerful revolutionary who set a revolutionary in motion and affect change, a powerful change within the 4 years. And y'all see all the things that I named that this guy implemented and he did, and the policies that he set into place, and him resisting and going against the French imperialists and so forth, man. But I just wanted, like I said, I could have added more information, but it's going to be more because there's so much to the story that I didn't add, man. And the presentation is called I Am Thomas Sankara. And I'm saying I'm Thomas Sankara, and anybody else can be Thomas Sankara who say that they are a true revolutionary and in a sense of effecting change and trying to do something to benefit yourself, someone that is uncorruptible, meaning that we're not out here pushing misinformation in a certain market so we can get paid for it, even though we know the information is bad, but we want to push it because we know pseudo information is what paying folks today. The people is not working. So I don't want to go back in the working field. So I'm going to go in a certain lane and push this misinformation and create a company and get paid off of it because most of our people are illiterate. And I'm going to prey on the weak of the people so I can get the bag. And if anybody else that does not look like me, come to me with the bag, I'm going to do it for the bag, regardless of my people. I'm not for my people. I'm for myself. So I am Thomas Sankara because I am for my people. So I get on here, I get on here, and we get on here, and we get on here for hours at a time and try to push information that is beneficial for our people. We try to set a certain standard, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to character. And this man had character. This man had good character. He has integrity. So I am Thomas Sankara, and those who have those same standards, have morals, who have ethics, who have integrity, who have good character, who cannot be corruptible. Like I said, for the people. You know what I'm saying? Doing things for the people, or put yourself before you put the people first before you put yourself. You know what I'm saying? You are Thomas Sankara. These are the sources that I used right here. And again, I like Thomas Sankara because he was different. So he wasn't like most of those people's in positions. He stood out differently than those other different people. You could be Thomas Sankara too. So these are some of the sources I use right here. Right here. And there's going to be more information coming from Thomas Sankara, even more information about the organizations and those other individuals coming, because, man, that story, man, like I said, man, it's so much to that story, man, and so much other stuff that unfolded before and afterwards, man. So those are my sources right there, so go check them out, go through them, you know what I'm saying, comb through them. Also, boom. I'm so inspired by this guy now. And I'm finna start doing a revolutionary series. So I have something that's coming on Mossi Warrior Clan. I don't know when to speak. I may pop up and do it tomorrow. I don't know, but I'm finna start doing more things dealing with revolutionaries and the effect, the change that they brought. Because now Thomas Sankara just only made me want to go harder. And even with this other individual that I talk about, who was a revolutionary in Sierra Leone, you know what I'm saying? He actually inspired me too. But right now you can go to our store, our online store. It's called, it is Mboka-Family Connected Apparel online store. And the website is www.familyconnectapparel.com. Again, that is www.familyconnectapparel.com. www.familyconnectapparel.com. And this is where you can get the Thomas Sankara shirt with one of the powerful statements that he had. I was going to put another phrase that he had on the back, but I didn't want to do that because the shirt would have been a little bit more if I would have did without the pricing. My retail price would have been a little bit more if I would have did that. So this is a dope shirt with Thomas Sankara on the front. This is the phrase or a statement that he made a week before he was assassinated. And it says, while revolutionaries as individuals can be murdered, you cannot kill ideals. That's the link down there in the chat. Go pick you up one of those Thomas Sankara shirts, especially if you're a revolutionary and you consider yourself again Thomas Sankara, because I am Thomas Sankara, and I stand stand on the shoulders of Thomas Sankara and some of the things that he did. But be looking out for more African revolutionaries, Pan-Africanist presentations from me. And I just think this will motivate people and it would inspire people, for people that may say, well, why? What is this going to do for people? You're talking, it's going to inspire you. It's going to motivate you. You know what I'm saying? It's going to uplift you. It's going to get you off your lazy ass. You know what I'm saying? And do something, not just for yourself, but do something for other people. And that's what I'm in. I'm in the business of doing stuff for other people. Sometimes it bites me in the butt. A lot of times it bites me in the butt, and a lot of times it don't. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people know my heart, and a lot of people know I'm friendly, and I do anything for people. I give you my last dollar. You know what I'm saying? I give you my last meal. But yeah, go to to Mboka. You can just type on. You can go to Google and just type in Mboka. That's MBOK. Then you can hit dash, and then you can put Family Connect, and it'll pop up. Or you can the online store. You can go to just hit www.familyconnectapparel.com, and the online store pop up, and you can browse through. I think it's on the 10th page. It's the last page in the catalog. Once you go on the website, go up to the top, click catalog. I have about 6 items on the front page. But if you want more items, you just go click the catalog. We have 10 pages of clothing. We have the Kofi Piesie Research clothing brand. We have the Mossi Warrior Clan clothing brand. We have the Mboka clothing brand. And now we have the Niger Valley Civilization clothing brand. I'm still adding some stuff for the Niger Valley, but you can go on there now and get you a hoodie. You can go on there and get you a shirt. You can go on there and get you a skull cap. You can go on there and get you some sweatpants or some Niger Valley sweatpants. I'll be adding some more stuff up on there now. You can also, we got Author's Perspective. We do Author's Perspective. We got an Author's Perspective shirt on there. We got Warrior Scholar show. So now we got the Warrior Scholar t-shirts on there as well. But again, it's a clothing store. It's not t-shirts. You can get whatever your heart desire for is clothing, you can get off of there. But the socks, I took the socks off of there because right now the socks was a high commodity, and the socks are out of stock, and they don't know when the socks are going to come back in. So the socks, I took the socks off of there. I took something else off of there because it became a high commodity, especially around the holidays. So the online online printing company that we go through, they is absolutely out of all of their warehouses. But again, go get you one of these dope shirts. This Thomas Sankara shirt. Wow, revolutionaries as individuals can be murdered. You cannot kill kill ideals. So yeah, go check that out, man. Get y'all some stuff off of there, man. Also available now. You can go www.kofipiesie.tv.com. Go to the website. Go to the website, A Spearitual Comeback, and get the latest publication by Kofi Piesie research team. It is a spiritual combat and historical survey in the minds of African warrior scholars volume work. And it has work in there by T'Challa Bangara, work in there by Eni Haret Sean Calfunny, work in there by Satep and Rob Mary Uman, working there by myself, Kofi Piesie, works in there by Sutek Akandi, Uyani Olawa, works in there by our newest member, Chris Marshall. Chris Marshall, you will be seeing more of him pretty soon. He just had a lot going on, so y'all haven't been able to see him as much as possible. But some stuff gonna start freeing up for him, and he's gonna be on here. He's gonna be contributing to the platform as well. So go get your Volume 3 Spiritual Comeback. We all say this is our best piece of work right now out of the 3 volumes right now. So go get it. Again, it is Mossi Warrior Presents Spiritual Comeback, a historical survey in the mind by African warrior scholars, written by Kofi Piesie research team. Written by Kofi Piesie research team. All right, these are our latest. These are all of our works up under the Kofi Piesie and Mossi Warrior Clan imprint. And it's a brand, so it was only right for us to create a clothing brand, by these brands, So now we have a brand where we facilitate books and we facilitate clothing. But we got much more in store. Magazines will be coming real soon. We just got to discuss that a little bit more. So be looking for magazines also will be coming. But right now you can go get our first text, Spirits of the Mossi, a historical survey. Hold on, let me see if I can oh man, let me go back. Here it is. Where my cursor at over here to the left, this is our very first publication. Mossi Warrior Clan presents Spirits of the Mossi, historical survey in the minds of African warrior scholars, Volume 1 by Kofi Piesie research team. Then you have our second publication, From Spirits to Pen, a historical survey in the minds of African warrior scholars, Volume 2, written by Kofi Piesie research team. So this is our second publication. Then we have our brother who is a member of Mossi Warrior Clan and a member of Kofi Piesie research team, which is published up under the imprint of Kofi Piesie research team and Mossi Warrior Clan. Sean's, who y'all know is Any Her Sean Cal Funny, One Night Before Bed. That is his children book. The Children Are Our Future. Also, you have a book, Kalawa's Trip to the Motherland and African Education of Music and Instrument, which is also under the Kofi Piesie and Mossi Warrior Clan imprint of brand. So you see those brands on the books. So this is my children book. So again, the children are our people. So we're not only trying to edify the minds of grown people, teenagers, we're also trying to edify the minds of our children as well. You have here, published up on the Kofi Piesie research team and Mossi Warrior Clan imprint. You have From Cocaine to Consciousness. This is written by Any Her Sean Cal Funny. And you have, as I learned, we all learn. Sharing information with others help deepen your own knowledge up on the Kofi Piesie research team and Mossi Warrior Clan imprint up under our brand. So, and then you have our latest that came out 2 weeks ago, The Spirits of the Mossi. Spiritual Comeback, the historical survey of the minds of African warrior scholars, Volume 3, which we say is our best work today. And throughout all these publications, if you got all these publications, I appreciate everybody that got these publications. We greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate that. And for those that probably have read all of these, probably except for Spiritual Comeback, because we still got books being shipped. We got people that bought books that just arrived, books that are almost there. So you can see through how we the evolution of our writing. We just going to only get better as we continue to write. So again, we appreciate people that write. And to me, publications and writing is very important. Down what other people may say, writing is very important. We need to produce more people that look like us. So damn what other people say. And publications, again, is very important. And I'm saying that because whether I sell 10 or whether we sell 10 copies or whether we sell 100 copies or whether we sell 1,000 copies, if we sell 10 copies, it's still a success. If we sell 50 copies, it's still a success. If we sell 100 copies, it's still a success. So writing is very important. And again, we want to make money because it's our intellectual property. But at the end of the day, we want to get the books out in the hands of many people as possible because we know it'll benefit them. Because again, we're trying to edify the minds of our people. So we are working. We're putting in work. We're trying to do our part. And later on, you might be able to see us on the ground. But again, writing is very important. And again, it doesn't matter if we sell 100 or 1,000 books, it's still a success regardless. Regardless. I just wanted to throw that out of there. But again, I appreciate everybody that supported and bought those bought those published books. And if it's your first time, please like and share the show. I'm not like and share the show, but it's your first time. Please, before you leave, please hit the subscribe and notification bell. Please hit the subscribe, because we have people I know that's been coming on that I hadn't seen in a while. I thought they will subscribe to the channel, not subscribe, but they'll come on every now and then. So please, come on. We're not begging y'all for anything. We just ask y'all, man, to subscribe to the channel, man. Hit the notification bell. And if you think our work, our what we doing is positive and it's good and we're affecting change, we ask that you just hit the like bell. And if you like what we doing and you want to see what we doing in our writings, hey, go to our website, man, and buy the books. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I like what these brothers doing, so I'm gonna support. We're not getting rich off these books. You know what I'm saying? And so we just try to do something and give back. So there's many other avenues instead of just doing presentations. We've been doing presentations for the last 4 years. So the next step was articles and then books. And then, we're going to do magazines. And then maybe later on, we'll be able to start doing things where you start to see Kofi Piesie research team, even Mossi Warrior clans, boots on the grounds. We might be able to create institutions, or we might be able to just do some things that we need to do in our community as a whole around each country. But again, appreciate everybody, for the support. Please like and share the show, and please subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed, hit the notification bell. Like the video if you thought the information was good. Buy the books if you want to know what we're writing about. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I got, man, before we end the show. Anybody else, man, on the panel got anything, man? Or
Nah, I threw the link in there for our brother Ben's project Killmonger's Corner volume. Yeah. So make sure y'all support, man. If not in the form of picking up some merch, if not in the form of picking up some books, at least like and share the show and subscribe. Share it out with people of like minds that you think might enjoy the information, like Kofi says, man. And we appreciate all y'all that come through and rock with us every week. We will be back later on, 8:00 p.m. Eastern time for the book club. And that's all I got.
What about you? So tell us, T'Challa, y'all got something, man, before I end the broadcast.
Yeah, man, it was a good show, jam-packed with information. I appreciate it. Like Sutek said, we're going live 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're doing our Destruction of Black Civilization. We're going chapter 7, so I'll be ready.
Yes, sir. Yeah, well, that's all, man. Oh, no, I forgot about you, T'Challa. Go ahead.
Oh, it's cool. I was talking to my girl, but I just wanted to say on the note of when people ask about that, there's this question that goes around: what does this do for our people? How does this help us? And to me, that sounds like what we call in certain sports a decaf type of person. And I'm just gonna say this: a dumb, casual ass fan who like to tune into stuff just for when they like to hear stuff and make them feel good. Like certain other platforms that's got hundreds of thousands of subscribers and hundreds of thousands of views on their, videos, millions of views on their videos. And the type of quality of content, if it was food, it'd actually be garbage. Literally. Leftover scraps molded with fungus all over it and other type of microscopic organisms that don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? The passion behind my voice right now is to a lot of these people that don't produce anything positive in a community, haven't done anything for their community, ain't worth a damn, don't give a damn, and want to ask the questions about what we're doing, people like us, how do we help? How are we helping the community? Information is everything to the African. And I'm going to leave it right there because all humans are African fundamentally, period.
Thanks.
And we all need information, period. So the next time somebody want to ask, well, what is this doing for us? What does pseudo information do for people? Because if you don't know what you're doing or where you're going, you just out here like a baby with no purpose. You have to be guided, molded, and taught and shown some things. That's information. So if you don't have no information, how do you know to do anything?
That's a fact.
Right? You have to be taught. Like, ain't nobody born knowing how to get, what the drip is. You don't know what the drip is. You got to be taught that. And that's on any level, bro. You in the game, you out in the streets, you into information, you writing books, publications, you're into sports. Well, guess what? All of that is information that has to be learned. Somebody have to let you know how much things are, for you can sell and buy and repackage and whatever else you're doing with your information. You have to know and to be taught by another individual.
Yeah.
That's it, man. I'm off my soapbox.
Yeah, no, you good, man. You good. I mean, but that's what people always say, man. Well, what is this doing? That's the favorite thing of most people, man. That's their favorite phrase, man. And even well, now I ain't gonna even say. I was finna say something, man, but I'm gonna leave that alone. But I'm gonna leave that alone.
Sure. What being on Facebook all day do for you? What love and hip hop every Monday or whatever day it come on, if it's still I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
What all that do for you though? At least you're getting the knowledge of self. You're getting the knowledge of the history of your people. That means a lot. If you gotta ask that question, then man, this channel might not be.
Yeah, you're right. Snotbox says Kofi. Yeah, so peace to you, Snotball. Kofi says he wants to be a college professor. I hadn't said that in a while. Yeah, I was recently in school, and I ain't been in school in I hadn't been in school a whole year. But hopefully, this is about the size of my African philosophy class in college, so we are in preparation. Okay, but yeah, I'm planning on going back in August to get my master's and get my and then go back for 2 more years and get my PhD. That's the plan. I deviated from the plan, but I will be going back to get my master's and my PhD soon. Hopefully, in August I'll be able to go back. Hopefully. I will, but yeah, I used to talk about that all the time. Being a professor when I did that Snotbox, I was in school. So let me know you've been rocking with us a minute, man. I ain't lying, Sean. Shut up. But yeah, man. Anyway, again, man, we appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate Zane. Some of the same ones. Like I said, appreciate you, the Snotball. Who else we got up in here, man? Let's just shout them out real quick, man. I know Juju was in here. I don't know if she's still in here, but peace to Sister Juju. If you ain't here, happy birthday again. But if not, appreciate you for tuning in for, however long you was. I know it's your birthday, so turn up. You know what I'm saying? Do it responsibly, though. Peace to our good brother, Shahudi Ma'at. That's a good brother, man. I mean, he's been very influential in some of the projects that we got going out, whether it's commercials, whether it's art graphics, or whether it's contributing to writing, because he wrote the dedicated forward. One of them, I think he wrote the forward from Spears to Pen, man. And he redid the Mboka design. So the Mboka logo that's on the clothing, we had our brother Fidel, who's in Africa, Banjul Gambia. He sketched it, colored it, and then I sent it to me. Then I sent it to Jehudi, and he did the art graphics and brought it on to life, man. So shout out to him. Go subscribe to his channel and MBK channel, man. Infinite peace, sis. Lakeisha Dunn, peace, sister. Shoot, who else on here, man? Well, June Jode, I'm not gonna stroll our way up, and everybody else that I didn't mention, man. Again, we grateful, appreciate you, man. We out. We'll see y'all this evening, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for our book club, where we'll be going over chapter 7 of our ancestor Chancellor Williams' publication, Destruction of Black Civilization. We out. I said ETM Hotep in the beginning. ETM Hotep means bring forth peace, because we are a peaceful channel over here. And anytime that's in a state of peace, there can be building going on. So again, I'm gonna say it again. Anytime there is a state of peace, building can be going on. When there's chaos, there's no building, because everybody is in a state of confusion and talking over, and people can't learn. It's not attractive. It's irritating. So we are in a state of peace over here. So I'm gonna say Shemim Hotep. So I'm saying to depart in peace till we see y'all again, man. Peace and Black African power. And we out of here, man.